Bible that says if you clean the house and you don't replace it with the Holy Spirit, the demon that left will come back with 7 more, worse than the first. My name is Ayhan, and this is my story. I grew up in a little town called Foster City in the Bay Area. It sat right on the bay. Beautiful place. It was all families. We had fantastic sports programs. We rode our bikes all over town. It was the American dream. I had great parents. They didn't even drink. They were loving parents. They took care of us. There was nothing I didn't have in life I was not lacking. It was a beautiful life. And that all kind of changed as I got a little bit older and got into middle school and started to hang around some people that were drinking. And I started to explore that. And then I started to see pornography. And then in high school, I found marijuana. That stuff kind of corrupted my soul. And so there was this side of me that was drawn to all these wrong things that were exciting, but I knew were wrong. And there was a side of me that I presented to my family or authorities or teachers and the people that I wanted to think of me highly. And so these two people grew, the lie of who I was and the dark things I was exploring, and the lie of, I'm a good old boy Ayhan. My senior year, right after high school, I was drunk driving. And I had been partying with a friend. I went out to my car. I went back. I had locked the door behind me. My friend had passed out, so I couldn't get back in the house, and I decided to take off. And we had been drinking tequila and beer, and I was wasted. I mean, I couldn't see straight. I think I stumbled into my car, and that was all I remembered. And I crashed my truck, and I crashed into a tree, almost killed myself, totaled my truck. And after doing this program, the lady who was running the program was really bright, non-judgmental. And for the first time in my life, I saw this adult who just had this grace. I want the thing she has. She's bright. And she's so full of love. And so I decided I'm going to stop drinking. And I was still smoking pot, but I was trying to stop. And she challenged me. She said, well, why don't you try quitting that too? And I did. And so I started to try to explore some spirituality because I was like, there's got to be more to life. And I don't know what it is because I haven't done it. All I've been doing is this other stuff. And as I started to explore different things, meditation, philosophies, religion, reading all kinds of self-help books, I started to feel better and kind of have all this wisdom that I was reading about and could regurgitate, but I would always feel this pull back to these things, the pornography, the drugs. At some point I got so bitter and resentful and hopeless because nobody I knew had an answer. Nobody could help me. First thing I'd do is walk in, crack 2 beers and just shotgun them just to get buzzed, just to start my night. And as I was looking at pornography, it was late at night and I was super drunk. And all of a sudden, the Lord said to me, if you don't cry out, if you don't ask me, I can't help you. And I cried out, God, I need you to help me. There's nothing else. I've tried everything, and I knew I couldn't stop anymore. In my life, this was the hell and the destiny of my life and the train wreck. But God was so present in my studio, and I was on my face on the ground weeping. My soul knew that Jesus was the answer. So I cried out, teach me about Christ. So, sometime later, I was on the job site, and I was the foreman. The rest of my crew, we were remodeling a house, and the rest of my crew was on the other side of the house. So it was just me on the front of the house nailing up some plywood, a 4x8 sheet of plywood, with my nail gun. And they sometimes lag. If you're nailing quickly, there's not enough pneumatic pressure to drive the nail heads fully in. So you take your hammer and you sink the nails in flush with the wood. You know, if it's sticking out a 1/4 inch, you hit it and sink it into the wood. So I grabbed my hammer and I went, and as my hammer hit the nail head, instantly Jesus was in front of me, and I was nailing his hand to the cross. And it was like he was day and I was night. He was light and I was darkness. And I was so ashamed, because everything I thought was smart, wise, justified, it all went out the window in the presence of pure love. Like it was like he was just completely loving me back, even though I was nailing his hand to the cross. And it was showing me I never change. My love for you never changes. And I just broke, and I just wept. And all that would come out of my mouth was, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because I was so ashamed for everything I'd become. But his love just continued, that it was embracing me. It was convicting me and embracing me at the same time. And within 6 months, every addiction was gone. And from that moment forward, everything changed. If there's anything my life, my testimony does, my life, I hope, speaks and helps people to make that choice to reach out to Jesus like I needed to, and like I still rely on him every day. My hope is that my life, if anything, helps people to come to Jesus.